Let's just do it.
Here's me. I'm alive. Gemma should be alive.
Am I alive?
You're doubly alive, which means I have to
Define
send
alive.
you to there. And now you're alive. And we're alive. And we're here. And we're live. Here we are. Hello, friend.
Yay!
And now I get to type up.
Furiously.
Um,
Dave came back from Japan. He missed us.
I didn't. I missed you a little. I missed you a little.
You did. Of course you missed me last year in Japan. You're like, where's that Gemma that I sit and drink Komeda coffee with?
Oh, that's true. I really, really did. I love
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Komeda coffee. Let me.
I introduced Dave to this. Like, it's not like some cute independent mom and pop coffee shop. It's like this.
No,
It's
not
like
at
this
all.
huge chain coffee shop. But I think it comes from, and I'm gonna get this wrong, Nagasaki. Maybe it's not a Tokyo brand, so it's relatively new in the Tokyo area. Am I just making this up? Is it Nagasaki? Right? You know,
All right.
the internet's not going
Pasted
to
all the
tell me.
things.
Komeda
Oh, thank
Holdings.
you.
Let's.
Welcome back. I am
Oh,
alive.
no.
I'm as alive as one can be. I'm working
Okay,
on
let me tell you
getting.
about Komeda. 940 coffee shops in Japan, and it's got 30 branches in Taiwan.
Oh,
So it's Nagoya. Sorry, Nagoya. Of course, it's Nagoya. What am I talking about? It's a Nagoya coffee brand that is now a big national chain, but the coffee is really delicious. The food
here we go.
is quite is the food has definitely got a Nagoya flavor, but a lot of it's like that huge thing they call toast in Japan, which is like an inch thick white bread toasted. And I'm going to use the word bread in a very liberal way because it's more like cake to me. Like if you're from Europe, or particularly if you're German or French, you are going to taste this bread and you're going to be like, that is not bread. So, but if you come at it like it's cake, then it's quite delicious. Anyway, so I introduced Dave to Komeda, which is conveniently only two floors down from the JPML dojo as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
And yeah, it's a great place to sit and shoot the shit.
And hide from the rest of the world. Let me see.
No,
I'm
it's
grabbing
not like
photos
Subway.
off of my
Subway
phone.
is, I mean, Subway is like a janky American takeout, right?
Wow, that's
Like,
that's not untrue, but harsh.
yeah, like Komeda is. It's not Starbucks because it's not really a takeout. Like it's definitely a sit in and drink coffee restaurant. It's a coffee shop. It's not an American style. The idea is you go in there and they've kind of done it up in like this kind of you're in like this rural traditional. It's all very twee. This rural traditional coffee shop. But you are supposed to sit there and drink coffee, not grab coffee and run. Which is, considering like the American style coffee houses have really dominated the scene, I really appreciate Komeda and
Sorry,
it's different.
I'm looking for my pictures. I'm not ignoring you. I
Yeah, no,
apologize.
I know,
I'm trying
I'm
to
just
get.
talking. I'm buying you time,
Oh,
Dave.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Um,
Anyway,
can I just select multiple pictures?
cake and coffee is kind of universal. Do you know what? You say that, but when Starbucks first opened up here in the UK, everyone was like, "That's not going to make it. British people only drink tea." And now look at us. I think most
Mm,
people drink more coffee than tea nowadays. Certainly, I don't think you'd ever get a cup of tea out. Like, I don't know, like getting a cup of tea at a coffee shop seems very my parents to me. Like, why would you get a cup of hot water, a tea bag in it when you're out? Like, you're gonna get a proper brewed coffee, right? Like, tea's for drinking at home. Maybe I'm wrong. That's my feeling. Mm.
tea can be, like high end tea can be really great.
Chirel doesn't drink tea or coffee.
Oh, what?
Wow. You're a very clean person. Dave is not a caffeine imbiber either. Dave is
That's
also a
not
very
true.
clean
That's not
person.
true at all. I
Oh, okay.
drink.
Sorry. You imbibe it in soda form. That's true.
I'm not. I drink soda. I like tea. I'm a big tea fan.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just
No,
don't
I
like
really like
coffee.
tea.
It's just coffee
I
then.
don't like coffee.
What don't you like about it?
It just doesn't taste good to me.
Huh.
It tastes too bitter, and I don't care for it.
I like bitter, like my heart. Do you add salt to your tea? Yeah, I think Dave was probably on the plane when that fiasco hit our shores.
Salt on your tea. Oh my god.
No, I mean the real question is whether he microwaves his water because that is disgusting. I would rather someone add salt to their tea than microwave their tea.
Ooh, ooh.
Like Drinking your tea with a bit of salt, I can argue that that's a matter of taste. Microwaving your tea water is just wrong. You salty your coffee. Don't you remember when there was that big fashion for what were they calling it? Like bullet coffee or something, where people were like
Yeah,
sticking like a pack,
yeah.
like a big pack of butter in their coffee, salted butter.
Well, that wasn't that like some there was it was some national thing, right? There was I forget.
But it was for people who were like bulking up, right? That's really what it was
No,
about.
wasn't it like fudge, where was it from? Tibetan like Tibet that they would do this?
Yeah, yeah, because they're bulking up because it's really,
Are
really
they
cold
bulking
up
up?
there. Well,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
they're,
so
they're
they need a
imbibing
lot
as
of
many
calories.
calories as possible, right? And then of course all the like the gym bros were like, well, that's a great way to get all of these calories I need for my workout. Hi, Curly, how you doing?
All right, I'm getting a lot of photos. I'm not just wasting time here. I'm getting a lot
You
of
must,
photos
you
to
must
share
how
with
I feel
everyone.
for you. I didn't. I've never salted my own coffee, but I did salt my husband's coffee once by accident. So
This
yeah, I
that
think that's
doesn't
probably
sound like a
worse.
good time.
Well, Dave's just preparing his photos because
Yeah,
he's still a bit jet
I'm
lagged, so we didn't
preparing
have time
photos,
ahead.
and
That
I'm
is
copying
worse.
off the
Thanks,
phone one at
Imaska.
a time.
But I'm going to blame him because he put the salt and the sugar in identical jars and didn't label them. So maybe this was his hard lesson to learn. Bulletproof coffee. That was right, Dr. Ballon. Rise and grind,
Yeah,
people, to skip meals and work. That's just awful. It's just like capitalism personified in a coffee drink. They had a water leak. I did not hear about this water leak. Dave also did not tell me about a water
wait,
leak
what water leak?
at the JPM dojo.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Oh.
I'm getting some exciting burgers here.
Why does Imaska have like a no look symbol? What does that mean?
Probably banned
Banned him.
him.
I'm gonna go look at the dojos.
I
Can
don't
I?
think so.
They tweet
Um,
so much.
okay, there. I've brought over a lot of pictures. I can bring over any additional pictures that are needed.
Carly, you and me
Um,
are soulmates. I love black coffee, no sugar.
maybe
It's
this
just the
picture.
way
This
to
is a good
drink
one
it.
too.
Pure bitterness. Why would you want to take that off? Yeah.
That's real bitter. All right, so now the final
Oh, I
question
see. Okay.
is how do I? Let me see here.
Got all these clever people knowing how to use their Twitch.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Where's the? Okay, what is this? This is hotkeys. This is that. That's fine. And then I'm gonna change this to get rid of this, and I'm gonna add a directory.
He's redacting his photos. He's probably
Yeah,
got
I'm
some.
getting rid of the ones that are bad and keeping the ones that are good. And then I'm gonna bring this down to a size where I can display the whole thing. Here we
I'm
go.
excited. I'm excited. Dave has not really been talking to me that much because he's been too
I don't
busy
like talking to
enjoying
Paula.
Japan.
She's just annoying. I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you. You always have things to say and opinions and stuff, and like,
I do have opinions, which is unbecoming of a female.
it's not okay. It's just not cool. All right, let me make sure that all these pictures look right.
Oh,
Let
I
me
see. It's
scroll
meant to be
through
to
them.
people who watching muted or audio only, but it's also okay. Oh, huh.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
Stuff
that.
I learned, huh?
All right, cool. So I think now we're at a point where I can share all these photos. Um, let's see
Okay.
what we got. So let's start at the very beginning. I'm going to just go through. I don't know if these are in any particular order, but here's some Dave Trip photos for those of you interested in the Dave Trip experience. This is our leaving of New York. If you look carefully, you can see Manhattan all spiky in the background. We're just taking off there in my big-ass plane. It's not my plane. It's the airline's plane. But they let me ride on it because they really like me. So we go there. What do we got next? Oh, the airplane food. Which
This is
is
always. Oh, so you were flying with Anna this time?
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
Anna's
at it
got
this
good
time.
food.
And for those of you who don't know, for those of you who have not taken international flights before, the food's pretty good. At least on Anna and Jal. Like this is
Yeah.
not a bad spread at all. In fact, I have to tell you, I actually won the meal on the plane. I won it.
Okay.
Because basically I went and they asked whether I wanted cheese tortellini
Uh,
or some rice dish. It was for the second meal, for the meal on
oh
the
yeah, they always do like the Western dish and the rice dish,
yeah. There's a
right?
Western dish and the rice dish, and I asked for the West. I wanted the cheese tortellini, I believe it was. I believe
Hmm.
that's what it was. I wanted the cheese tortellini, and the steward is like, "Oh, we don't have any right now."
Hmm.
And I thought what she meant was we are out of it.
Hmm.
So I was just like, okay, you want, I'll take the other one. That's fine, no problem, right? I'm like, fine. No, this wasn't premium. This is just normal economy. Um,
This is Anna's
well,
economy class. Yeah.
last time I flew JAL and I flew premium economy, um, and like, cause the economy tickets were like $2,300 and the premium
Hmm.
economy tickets were like $2,600. So at that point, I was like, forget it, I'll just do premium economy. But this time, premium
Other
economy.
people's lives, eh?
Well, I was like, it's such a small gap. Like, I might as well do it because the tickets were just really expensive to begin with, and it was like,
Okay.
okay, I either pay a
I
lot or a
guess.
tiny bit more, so I might as well treat myself. But this time, the premium economy ticket was twice as much as the economy ticket, and it hit that point for me where I'm like, I'll
But I'm
just
gonna
go
make
to
an
Japan
argument.
again
Like,
for the same
I
amount of
think,
money.
but I think Anna has the same seats as Jal, right? In that when you put your seat back, your seat doesn't actually go back. It kind of like it moves
A bit.
forward. The
I
seat
never
moves forward,
recline.
and
I just don't do it.
okay, but if you do recline, you don't actually recline into the person behind you. It kind of the seat actually moves
No,
forward, and
not in
then you kind of go
economy.
like that. But they have greater leg room to accommodate that type of seat. So I would argue that if you're an Anna or Jal, you don't need premium economy anyway.
Premium, I liked it because it just gave me, in my mind, the difference between economy and premium economy is economy's fine and I really don't have a
Hmm.
problem with it, but I am a little cramped in there and not like fully comfortable. Premium
Hmm.
economy was like I am as fully comfortable as I need to be. I can work, I can do anything, I'm just fine,
Yeah.
which is cool. Business is amazing, but it's just crazy expensive. But
Hmm.
even here, premium economy, like I was like, do I want to pay twice as much? No, I
Hmm.
don't. I just don't.
Hmm.
So like at that rate, it wasn't worth it. But anyway, that's our economy versus premium economy conversation. But yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
this
So
is
the food was
normal
good.
economy. Also, the food in premium economy is the same as normal
Hmm.
economy. You do not get
They
better
give
food in
you
premium
you do
economy.
get noodles in premium economy that you don't always get in economy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have gone.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, this is the food. It's good food. If you fly on a nice flight on JAL or ANA, you'll get good food like this. Oh, so the second meal, she says, okay, well we don't have any of the cheese tortellini, and I'm like, fine, I'll take the other one.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'll make your life easy. Like I don't really care that much. It's fine. But what she meant was we don't have any here.
Hmm.
We'd have to go back and get it.
Yeah.
So she gave me the other one. And then she came back in like 10 minutes. She's like, oh, thank you so much for cooperating, being cooperative. Here's a cheese tortellini as well. So I'm like, well, that's why they call me Double Dinner Dave, because I just nailed it. And here we go. So now Double Dinner Dave wins it and gets himself both meals. So congratulations. Take that. I got
I mean,
something.
it's a long flight, Dave. It's a long flight.
Oh my god. Yeah, business class it is so nice. It is so nice. But I just keep looking at that price tag and I'm like, is it worth it?
I've only done it once. And I think, do you know what? It was some crazy situation where I bought my ticket and they were like, do you want to upgrade for $400? And I was like, I've always wanted to fly business class. So I was like, I'll give you $400 if I can fly business class. No, I'm sorry, I did twice. So what I'm doing, I got business class. So the first one I paid for, and when I got on the flight and they knew my name, and I was so excited, and there was a wine list to choose from. It was very thrilling. And the second time was because they cancelled our flight, and I was ready to really go at them. Like I was really cross. I was really mad. And I phoned them up ready to shout at them. And the lady was like, oh, well, we can put you on the next flight and we'll put you in business to make it up for you. And I was like, oh, I guess now I can't get mad.
Hmm.
So yeah. Well done, lady, for stopping my madness. But yeah. Anyway, I'm not rich enough for business, and then also I'm suspicious that it's probably not environmentally friendly to fly business class now.
I mean, it's about equal, right? What is it? You're on the same plane.
No, because you're taking up significantly more space, right?
But someone's going to take it up, so why not you?
Okay, yeah. I mean, from an individual perspective, but surely
Right.
there's a good argument that we should just not be allowing people to fly business or first at all, and that everyone should fly a level of premium economy.
I mean, what I found that's really interesting about the planes these days is that there seem to be a lot more business and first class seats and less economy seats.
Well, that's because that's where they make their money.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like these planes have so much less economy seating than they used to. I feel like it used to be like 5 rows of business class and then like 20 to 30
Oh,
rows
but
of economy.
if you're on a Japanese airline, there'll be more business class.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Don't know. Anyway, that's the food. It was good. There's more Japan food. Some of my favorite food. Jumbo bars. Love these things. Can never get enough of this. These
What
are
do you call
genius.
these?
Jumbo bars.
You call them, okay, there's a word for it that I can't remember what
I
it's
thought that's
called.
what it was named.
Yeah, yeah, there's another word for it. And I can't remember it, but I was pretty sure, and I was wondering if it was American. Do you know, I'll look it up later, not now.
It's ice cream. It's an ice cream bar.
Yeah, but it's like a
And
sandwich, right? It's like a,
yeah, well, the part that outer part is the cone,
hmm.
and it's crispy and wonderful, and it completely encases the ice cream, so you can hold the ice cream cone bar all in one go, and like then you can bite into it, and there's ice cream inside, and there's a layer of chocolate in the very center of the ice cream, which also is pretty tasty. It's just genius. It's just this great way to eat ice cream that's completely clean. You never get dirty. It doesn't drip on you unless you do something crazy with it, and it's crispy and wonderful, and I love them, and so I eat them all the time because they're great. Um, this is from a meal that I had with a friend of mine that I saw while I was over there. It was a 15 course, like, what's it called?
Kaisatsu.
Kaisetsu.
Yeah.
It was really fancy and pleasant. Um, it was wonderful. Uh, but
Yeah, kaisatsu, like it's lots of little dishes though. It's not like big dishes. It's just like small everything.
yeah, yeah, it's like a tasting menu.
But I will say, I can't manage it because because it's happening so it takes such a long time. I've eaten each little small dish, and around a dish 4 or 5, my brain's like, you've eaten enough now, Gemma, stop. But the dishes keep coming. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
there's a lot of things. I love it. It was great because everything's very tiny. You get the taste, you get the flavor, and then you move on. And it's great to try a lot of different things. I have fun with it. That's good. So when we visited Alvan, these are giant like Singaporean tiles. These tiles are huge.
See, it's difficult when
Uh,
you've got your hat for scale because your head's pretty big.
well, I
So
had
it's,
pictures of my hand for scale, but like
yeah.
these tiles are at least like 4 inches tall.
Jeez.
Like they're enormous. We got a bunch of them.
But
Um,
what's the purpose of them being so big? It's just.
I think they just prefer big tile. I think it actually was anti-cheat.
Mm.
It was like the big tiles are harder to palm and do tricks with.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like
Yeah, okay.
yeah, the mahjong tiles are delicious. Yeah, they're enormous. I brought them. They gave us these 789, so
Do
they're
you know
in the
what I
studio now.
do
If you
like?
want
I
to check
like the
them
way
out.
the painting is much clearer on the bigger tiles. Like I know
Yeah,
that's
they're really
inevitable,
they're
right?
easy reading tiles for the elderly. They're great.
But you know when you get the
Uh,
small tiles and sometimes the ink is kind of leaked away from the engraving bit because I guess it's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
hard
yeah.
to paint them when they're that small.
They're
Whereas,
very perfect looking.
yeah, these look nice.
They're fun. They're fun tiles. They're huge. So
Also,
part of my
people
exploration
wanted
of
to eat marshmallow.
Japan does include because mahjong tiles look delicious. Does include checking out some random stuff. So the Godzilla burger. We talked about the Godzilla burger, and this is the Godzilla burger. I got it. This is the double teriyaki burger with pork patties. They had pork patties
Yeah,
on
yeah,
these.
teriyaki is always the point. You know the
That
sausage
was so
patties you
good.
get for McDonald's breakfast? It's those.
It was so good. It was so good. Here's what it looked like. And it looked a lot like the ad, to be honest. Like, again,
Yeah.
sometimes you have an ad and it looks great and you get it and it looks terrible. Oh, it looked pretty good. It came out pretty good. I was impressed. I was like, hey, this is
Or baggy pants. I will pre-order your Kendall mint cake Marshall
ooh
tiles.
yeah, I pre-ordered that. But yeah, yeah, I was very pleased by the fact that it looked like the advertisement. It tasted good. I mean, it
Gojira
was like
burger.
Gojira Baga. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't like revolutionary or world changing, but it was a tasty burger. It was a cool
Mm.
special event.
Oh,
I
I love
enjoyed eating it.
teriyaki stuff
That's
anyway.
my review. Yeah, it was pretty solid. Like again,
Mm.
the other really exciting thing about this burger is that it was like I think 800 yen or less, which is like $6 right
Mm.
now. Like this burger was cheap as free for a
I mean
double
that's
patty teriyaki
but
burger.
that's expensive in Japan, right? I think last time I was there, you could get like a teriyaki burger for 250 yen or something, or 300, something like that. So, I mean, it's not a cheap burger compared to the other burgers. Although, inflation's hit, so maybe teriyaki burgers are more expensive now. But yeah, I always like the fact that if you order it from the visual menu, you're gonna get something akin to what you've ordered. Unlike in America, where you're just gonna get a flattened mess.
Yeah, no, I was really pleased that it was good. Again, like these are little things, like, but I always find it interesting to try fast food in other places, and I couldn't get the Domino's cheese volcano pizza
Oh
because
no.
it was so much. Like I
Yeah.
can't eat it myself. What
It's
am
a
I gonna
lot
do
of
with it?
calories, that's true.
It's a lot. If I had someone to share it with, if my co-host of this show, let's say, had trucked themselves over to Japan, we could have split one.
Oh my God, I would have eaten it all though.
And just to spite her, I
Ah,
went hog
my
wild
Fami Cheeky.
on the
Oh,
Famichiki.
it's so good.
These little guys are like 200 yen,
Oh, and they're
which is like
so
a buck
delicious.
50.
Like I don't know
Um,
what they put on the coating, but it's so good.
it's just a little. I think it's dark meat fried chicken.
And do you know, but
Um,
it's significantly better than KFC, right? And KFC is pretty good chicken, but this is
I
significantly
like it more than
better and
KFC.
cheaper.
I like it more than KFC. And it's so grabbable. Like it comes in a little bag, and they like tape it closed, and you can just
Mm.
tear the bag in half and eat it. Like it's so just
I like the
snackable
way
whenever
the
you
bag
want
now
it.
says "I am chicken." Just
I am chicken.
Saps is going for
Just in case.
Japanese. Try and order famichiki at your tasteful posh Japanese
Ugh,
restaurant.
ugh. It's a treat. It's a
Pez,
treat. I like
it,
I'm
it was basically my lunch every day, and I gained a lot of weight. So I do not recommend this behavior.
You have sold me on this, so Gemma. You have sold me on this. This is good stuff, and I approve of it. And it's so cheap, and you can get it at any hour, basically.
Mm.
There's also what's it called? Famikata now.
Yeah.
They have like karaage fried chicken. So there's many different famichikis available to you. And now we can go straight into exciting photos. Exciting photos of Dave, who has photoshopped himself. I'm gonna acknowledge, for those of you on the stream can bear witness to my vanity. Um,
Dave,
in my
okay, Dave,
early
Dave did not
days,
use a filter. Okay, I'd like to point this
no,
out.
no, no, no. I did not use a filter.
No.
Again, I'm going to be entirely honest with all of you. In my days in Japan, you can see the remnant of it here. I got a giant, awful pimple, and it was hideous, and I felt hideous, and so I used a like blemish remover tool to remove the giant, angry red pimple on my face. Otherwise, this is hashtag no filters. Um,
So who's this, Dave? Tell us
so
who this is.
it's Uotani,
Hmm.
who plays for Sega Sammy Phoenix
So
in
Yumin
Emily.
is her nickname. Yumin.
Yumin?
Yumin. Her name's
Oh,
like
like
it's
Yumi.
her
Uotani,
name's
Uotani Yumi.
Uotani Yumi, and then but Yumin is like Min can be like a Chan or a Tan. It's like another one of the, so they've kind
Oh,
of smushed them together. It's a cute nickname.
I thought it was a play on human.
No, Yumin.
Human.
It's and you know how like you know have you've got your Chan and your Kun and your San and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
Sama.
It's
Like
a
you can also
suffix.
have Tan and your Mins and there's lots and lots
That's a
that
lot of
sound
things.
cute. I know it's a lot, but yeah,
Japanese is crazy.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so my nickname human. Yeah, they
But
call me human. I'm just
she's
human.
not. She's you know, I've got a real
I've
girl crush
heard.
on Uotani,
I was
but
gonna say I've heard she's superhuman at
yeah,
mahjong.
she's very strong. Like she gives. There's very few female pros that really give the male pros a run for their money. Aki
Hmm.
being one, and Nikaido Aki, and Uotani being the other now. Um, yeah, she's won so many titles. She's so strong. She's very genuine and sincere. She's a bit like Aki. I found though that the good people are the ones who tend to get
What makes these pros so
who
goated?
tends to win at mahjong. I'm not sure like what the correlation is there, but you know sometimes you meet absolute twats trying to become professionals and make it big, and they never do it. It's always the good people. That's why I like mahjong, and that's probably why I don't win anything.
False. What makes these pros so goated is a bit of a hot
What
take
is
topic,
goated?
especially greatest of all time. What makes them so high end?
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
okay.
talk about that in a minute because
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about my experiences playing.
Goated.
But it
I've
was
not
great
heard
to it
this
was
word
great to
yet.
meet her.
Greatest of all time. Okay.
It was down at the JPML dojo, of course, where I hung out for a couple days.
Thanks, Callie.
Played a bunch of games, and remembered why I'm not that great at mahjong. Telepathy. And continue forward. Oh, more cool stuff. I found this awesome Final Fantasy 14. So I went to the Square Enix store to see their cool stuff. It's a Final Fantasy 14 nail clipper. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to rep your
I
game
know, like there it
even?
says meteor there.
I do own this object. Thank you very much. It is mine.
Why
It's
would
not mine
you?
actually.
Why
I
would
gave
you
it to
buy
somebody.
it? Like,
But
why would someone make it? And why would you buy it?
I
Were you
bought
like,
it
I
because
need
it
a
was
nail
the most
clipper?
amazingly practical yet entirely impractical thing that I could find. You have to understand, Curly, right now, anything that is priced in yen is free. Like any object that you pay yen for is basically free. So you don't have to worry about it. It was also not. It was not crazy. Like frankly, at the Square, what is this, Art in a Cafe? Like the Square Enix memorabilia store there. Like the prices are actually fairly reasonable. Like they're really not just straight up hoovering up money. Like it's not gross.
I think compared to
Um,
buying this kind of merch in, America or the UK, I think it's really expensive here. But yeah, in Japan, it's fairly regular,
it's
reasonable.
fair. This was less than 10,000. Oh, I'm sorry, less than 1,000 yen to buy.
Hmm.
So that's the ten
I just
on a
hope,
good
I
day for
just hope
Japan. A
you're,
thousand yen is $10. Right now, 1,000 yen is like $8.
I
So
just
this is
hope you have it
pretty
when you're
darn
90
cheap.
years old and you can remember it.
Yeah,
You can keep coming back to it.
yeah, I can use it forever. I got a bunch of stuff. I got mostly some FF14 pins. I got all the negative status effect pins because I really like them. But this is one of the craziest things that I was able to get there. They might. I mean, we could see about the Doman set.
Yeah, I
Um,
kind of want to. I was kind of sad I didn't pick up the Doorman set, but it was
I'm a little sad I
expensive.
didn't pick up the
For
Doman
some
set.
reason, I got the Doorman mat. I don't know why I decided I wanted the mat over the set. That made no
Huh.
sense to me at all. So I don't know what historic gem I was thinking in her head, and I'm kind of sad I didn't get the set now. But I know Curly has it. Curly did an unboxing video, so if you're
Ooh,
interested in it, Curly, I'm sure can
super
link you to his
interested.
unboxing video.
Yeah, no, that's just. I wish I got that set. I'm dumb for not having bought that set. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really funny object I found. I treated myself to a pretty darn good
Oh,
tonkatsu.
I love that stuff. God, I want
Um,
it now.
where oh, that's awesome. That's good to hear people really like the donut. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
back
exciting to
back to
see that thing
food.
in person. Yeah, so tonkatsu, like I didn't know what to do, so I had to Google it real quick. That you grind up the sesame seeds yourself, and you make your own little sauce
Oh,
there.
you went to that place. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah. Well,
serious place.
Katsukura. It was called.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, it was just in the department store by Shinjuku. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the department store and I'm gonna eat a fancy meal in the department store because of two reasons combined. One is the fancy meal in the department store will be pretty darn good. Like
Mm.
the department store restaurants are pretty darn good restaurants. And two, the department store will not wince at letting me in. Because I'm sure the department store up by Shinjuku Station sees plenty of foreigners, and like,
Dave, I don't think you have to worry about people wincing for you.
I mean, a little. Like if I tried to go to some like tiny, out of the way, high end restaurant that's not used to getting any foreign customers, it's gonna be a little bit like,
The only time I've really seen that is sushi restaurants because of the levels of etiquette with real sushi. They don't want foreigners. They're
mm.
very difficult to arrange. And, foreigners want a menu. And if you're in a proper sushi restaurant, there is no menu.
Well, that's the other
Um,
thing. Like I feel like again, it's not that I'm a raucous bad customer, but like yeah, the department store place will have an English menu. And
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
see me and they'll be like, "Oh, here's a guy we give the it'll be comfortable for them as well, so it'll just be easy."
Yeah, do you know, I went
Um,
to I went to a restaurant in Shinjuku, a beef tongue restaurant, and they were so unsure about letting me in. They were like, they're pointing their tongue out. It's tongue, and I'm like, yes, I know. And they're like, but you have to eat it, and I'm like, I know. That's what I'm here
I
for.
would
The beef tongue restaurant. Jeez.
I would love for someone to try that shit on me because do you think you invented beef tongue?
I know, right?
My
That's what
people invented beef tongue.
I mean,
Like
we
this
eat
is
beef
my
tongue in the
heritage.
UK. We eat beef tongue in the UK. It's just,
Oh yeah.
it's not a crazy food.
And
I've
I
seen crazy
love this
foods.
shit. I love this shit. Let me tell
Yes.
you.
Mm.
Anyway, so I had this delicious tonkatsu. It was really good. Because I've been asked in the corner there, it's like a vegetable wrap that they then also deep fried,
Mm.
which was a pleasant little animal. Yeah, so I learned that you get this thing of sesame seeds and you grind it yourself. You have to grind up the sesame seeds yourself, and then you put the sauce in. So you make your own like sesame paste sauce to eat this with, which was really good. It was absolutely delicious, and the pork quality was so nice. It was just great eating really good pork,
Yeah.
and just having it fried and
And I
wonderful
thank
time.
I thank you for using the word pork because I've noticed Americans like to use things like protein instead of meat, and I'm just it really annoys me.
Well, the protein, that's in case you're a vegan and you're doing soy. Yeah, so
Oh
I
my
got into a bad habit
God.
this trip. I got into a bad habit this trip.
This is
Um,
good. Well, you've got
so I
tongue
saw
there.
I visited a friend of mine, and he was like, "Oh, let's go to teppanyaki." And I fine. And so we got a giant wagyu course, and we
Oh,
grilled it all, and it was delicious. And then the
just look at
next
that.
night, I visited some other friends of mine, and they were like, and I was just straight up like, "Look, man, dinner's on me. Dinner's on me because
Yeah.
everything's free here, and I haven't spent enough money this trip, so dinner's on me." And these friends included Garth and Danny, who are people we know, so I can talk about them on stream. I don't want to drag anyone on stream who doesn't want to be on stream. But Garth and Danny they can't help it. They're famous now. Sorry, deal with it. You've been outed as hanging out with me. Um, and they were like, "Oh, let's do this great teppanyaki place." That always I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I just ate it last night. I'm gonna eat it again tonight. So it was another. And this place was fancier than the place I went with my other friend, which was very like that place was very like it was interesting because it was very homey. It was very like
Mm.
close. It was great to hang out with someone in kind of like this really close place. And this was a fancier time, which was also a lot of fun. And we got multiple plates like this, like of different types of wagyu, and that's fresh grated wasabi on there too, an actual wasabi, not the horseradish stuff, actual wasabi that went really great with the steaks. It was wonderful. We ate it. We cooked it.
I'm
And
gonna
we
I'm
ate it.
gonna give I'm gonna give my hot recommendation if you're going to like eat this very marbled fatty beef in Japan. They'll always serve you a little bowl of salad, right, with your meat.
Mm,
I recommend eating mouthfuls of the salad between your mouthfuls of meat because that's a lot of fat in your stomach, and if you're not used to that level of
yeah.
richness, it can move straight through you.
You have to be prepared for
Yeah,
how intense meat like that is. And I
yeah,
can just eat it like crazy because I'm very
yeah.
strong. That's how you say fat.
No,
And
no, I think you could.
but
Some
I'm used to
people,
it. Like I understand what it is, and I can
yeah,
tolerate it. But like
yeah.
it's definitely good to use rice or salad or something else in the
You need a
middle
bit
to
of
kind of
fiber
break it up a little
to
bit.
yeah to
Yeah.
slow its passage because I'm one of those people I struggle with very rich French food as well. My stomach just
Mm,
so I always go in like with a plan, like I'm gonna have this vegetable to make sure that there's enough to soak, as you said, the rice to soak up the fat. But yeah,
yeah, something to keep you from getting over fatted. Like it can be. It's again this stuff. It doesn't look like a lot of meat, but if you're not used to eating meat of this richness, it is
yeah,
heavy. It is a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So that was a great time. And then back to the dojo,
Back to mahjong.
back to mahjong to meet up with our. I don't
You
remember
want to
her
say
name.
date, don't you?
Date.
It's
Yeah, no, no.
date. I know
It's
it's
not. It was not a date. It was a meeting and a photograph, but it was not a date.
every time
But
I
her
see the
name is
name, as well
Date.
I read date. But yeah,
Um,
Date Pro. She's really lovely
from the Sega
too.
Sammy Mahjong Fight Club team in M League. This was later at night. This was like at 9 p.m., 8 or 9
Hmm.
p.m. that I got there. So we got there.
That's there.
I was able to meet up with her. Yeah, their fight pose. Each of them has a fight pose, except I think one of them that just has a glow stick. One team, but
Oh yeah, Okada's team. Oh, what they call the Sakura Knights. They use the glow sticks, right?
yeah, they use the glow sticks. So it's great to meet her as well and hang out. These people are now younger than me, which is like upsetting to me in a very
Did
visceral way.
did you actually get to play with them with Date and
I
Otani?
did
Or
not. No, I didn't get a chance to play with them because of the way the room was arranged at the time.
Hmm.
Uh,
Did
which
they
is
sit you on
fine.
your own special table and make people move around you?
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was interesting. I can talk a little bit about my mahjong experience. I'm gonna make sure I'm done with all the pictures.
Hmm.
I found this gotcha machine that was full of tiny Tokyo bananas, which I thought was adorable. I thought it was really
Not
cute.
edible ones though, so I'm
No,
not
no,
really
they're just
sure what
tiny
their
little
purpose
Tokyo
is.
banana. If you want to have one to remind, I went to do conveyor belt sushi and made a tower of power. Anyone who's done that knows that I did pretty good work. Thank you
Well,
very
they're probably
much.
thanking you after all the kaiten sushi scandals recently.
Wait, what are the kaiten sushi scandals?
So there were like some YouTubers, obnoxious people, who were like drinking out of the soy bottles and like spitting on the food as it was
Oh,
going
people
round,
being gross.
like
Okay.
being really disgusting, but just doing it for the clicks, right? And
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but the whole kaiten sushi industry started to panic because people weren't going there anymore because people were like, this isn't, especially straight after COVID, right?
yeah.
People got really freaked out, and the kaiten sushi
No
industry was
wonder.
really stressed because it was,
Because this
yeah,
place wasn't. They had nothing on the conveyor belt.
that's probably why.
Yeah, it was all direct order, and that must have been
That's
why.
that's why. Yeah, it's been a real
Because
damaging incident for them.
why would people do that? It's because we have an entire industry and we're on Twitch, so we're technically part of it, even though we're not behaving
Yeah,
poorly for
I
views. But we have an
know.
entire industry that thrives only on attention,
Yeah.
and people like looking at things that make them angry. And and that's one way to get it. I can get attention by saying something amazing that you love hearing, and I can get attention by showing you something that makes you mad, and then you watch it so you can be mad about it. And people, that's awful.
I think it
I'll
was
never
really
go
shocking.
back
You know, I
again.
think if it happened here, everyone would be like, people are disgusting. What do you want to say? But I think in
Yeah.
Japan, it was a real shocker because, yeah, why would people do that? In Japan, people, I want to fall into the horrible, stereotypes, but people do tend to behave themselves better than
Japan
in
is a
our
place that
cultures.
has a lot of nice things that we can't have outside of Japan because overall people don't shit them up. For whatever
Mm.
reason, they don't. That's why Japan has vending machines everywhere, because people don't knock them over and steal everything out of them, which you think is very basic, but like we don't have it here because people will.
But I mean, I'm going to pull that back and say, like, it's actually the whole of our culture, though, because even people who I would say were fairly middle class, fairly well behaved, they'll still do lots of minor law breaking because they think they know better. Even things like littering, like, you just don't
Well,
litter in Japan,
yeah,
right?
but I'm sure people in Japan do lots of minor law breaking as well, just in ways that aren't as detrimental to the public good. Like they're people too. I'm sure people do things they think they can get away with because they're
Um,
people. Everyone's people.
I don't know. I feel like when the law breaking happens, it's always the same things, like not giving up your seat for the elderly on the train or molesting women on the train. I don't know. All the law
Hmm.
breaking seems to concentrate itself on the same levels of law breaking. I mean, tax avoidance is a
Tax
massive
avoidance, I'm
problem
sure.
in Japan. I think I read one statistic where only 50% of the country were tax compliant at any one time.
Jesus.
I know, right? Especially in a country that's aging like that. You're like, you need to sort that problem out. Anyway, yeah, I think it's not so much rules, it's a respect for other people that I don't want to, again, I feel like I'm really stereotyping things, but we come from individualistic cultures, not a sort of community based culture. And it does, and I'm bringing this into Mahjong. This is doing very well, guys. You're going to be so
All right, let's
proud
hear
of
this.
my
Let's hear
segue
this.
here because it infects the way we play Mahjong as well. Things that we have to write down for Western players, like, I don't know, don't sneeze into your nose and sneeze in your hand and touch the tiles. Like, I don't feel that I should have to write that down because that's just basic respect. And sometimes I think that we're so obsessed over our individual performance in Mahjong, we forget that actually we have to respect players. And maybe that's why the most pleasant people are the people who succeed most at Mahjong because they're the ones with the respect for the other players and respect for
Hmm.
the game.
Hmm.
Gemma's hot take. If you want to be good at Mahjong, you have to be a good, respectful, empathetic person.
Hmm. I'm thinking. I'm
No,
thinking.
Dave's
I'm
thinking on
like,
that one. I mean, communities. Yeah, I mean, Japan is built different. I mean, yes, it's. I mean, Japan was catapulted into whatever we call the modern world.
hurtled. Hurtled.
If you look at and
Don't stick the tiles up your nose.
you look at the way they went from a samurai culture, a very feudal culture, into what was seemingly a modern parliament, and then into a world war. And then out of
Hmm.
that, I mean, they're huge dramatic movements, maybe probably akin to our kind of Reformation times and stuff like that.
I
Um,
think. I think. Like. I feel like, from my perspective, which is also definitely an incomplete perspective and an
mm,
outsider's perspective, I feel like it's just a higher priority given
mm,
to the concept of group membership.
yeah.
And I feel like that, and that's not something that is foreign to me
Mm.
as an American.
I don't think I think it's
Like
in foreign concepts to us. I think we can
no,
grasp them.
it's just how much weight we put on them. Like for
Mm,
example, yeah, if you're in a social situation, and everyone here I'm sure has been in the social situation where they have had the opportunity or sometimes even desire to
mm,
say something that would be upsetting to people.
mm,
Say something that's going to throw the conversation out of whack. Say, maybe, one way or another, right? And the question becomes, how much value do you put on preserving this group dynamic that's going on right now versus saying what
mm,
you feel like you want to say? And
mm,
that's a judgment call. There's lots, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer to these questions depending on
mm,
so much context and so much stuff. But
mm.
I feel like, at least in American culture, we do kind of lionize this idea of I speak up.
Yeah.
I'm not letting myself be constrained by what everyone else thinks because I'm going to do something I think is important. And again, I don't think that's a fundamentally bad conceptual framework, but we are kind of trained to put a little more weight on that. And then the stories that we tell about people, the stories that we tell about things that were good and meaningful and positive for our culture are oftentimes stories of individuals who saw a group thing that they weren't okay with or that wasn't good, and who then challenged that thing by speaking up or doing something and brought about positive change. Cool. But we've said this idea that, yeah, my individualness and my challenging of the dynamic is a good thing that we think will help.
But I think you can speak up and challenge in Japanese culture. It's just not done in the same way. I think that the way Americans do it, and even from a British perspective, I find the American approach very direct.
Yeah, she's still really upset about all that tea we threw in the water.
I know. What the hell? Just put it in a warehouse anyway. But like,
we probably didn't even tell you we didn't
direct.
like the stamps. We just started throwing the tea overboard. You're just like, did something wrong happen? Like, what do you even want?
I mean, in some ways, it's really refreshing, right? Like, you don't have to worry what the agenda is because the Americans just got it right over their face. The negative to that, though, is sometimes it makes it difficult to navigate to a joint beneficial outcome. This is coming from the person who has to negotiate between, sometimes Dave, sometimes other people, and the Japanese mahjong scene to get to that joint beneficial outcome, whether that be World Reach Championship or whatever initiative we're trying to achieve at that point in time. And sometimes people have just come up and they've said something, and you're like, I could have said that for you. It just wouldn't, in a way that they could react, right? Because the problem is, if you say something so direct, sometimes the reaction has to be just to block it, right? Rather than to sort of approach, is there a common ground here that we can start having this conversation? Yeah,
it's hard. I mean, any cross-cultural business relationship, any cross-cultural relationship of any sort is hard because, the things people value will be different. The way people communicate will be different. It's just different. And learning to bridge that gap is challenging.
Sort of back to mahjong, like I've seen people sort of react negatively or badly at the table because they're losing or because they're winning sometimes.
I hate winning. It makes me so angry.
But there's so many bad winners, right? And there are bad losers. And I'll admit, I have sometimes not behaved the best at the table because our culture enables that. But I just don't think you'd see, especially you would not see that from Iwatani and Date. And that's one of the things, lots of people who want to become professionals, they just obsess about you have to achieve a certain level of strength in mahjong, and then you can test into becoming professional. But then, becoming a professional requires interview process, essays. And, for some of us, 6 months to prove that you have what it takes. It's more like joining a company, right? And that is where they're looking about whether you're the right person, a good person, and of the right cultures, and exhibit the right behaviors to be a professional, which is to make people enjoy the game. No one's gonna want to come to the dojo if they get to play the pro and the pro's acting all stroppy because they're coming last. Then you're going to have a bad experience as a fan, and you're not going to want to play mahjong. The idea is that you should be able to sit at that table with the pro and enjoy the game. That's having respect for the game. Having respect for other players and having respect for the game means that everyone enjoys it. Someone's got to come last. Someone has to come last, right?
Yeah. And that's one of the things about mahjong is no matter how good you are, you're still going to take your turn coming in last. It's still going to happen to you. You're not just going to magically never lose. So and I think it is important because when you're dealing with things like professional organizations, and this is something that is, I think, a challenge for people sometimes, is that if you're dealing with a professional organization, if you want to be a professional organization, it's more than just having funsies playing a game. Like if I was going to join JPML, if I was going to sit there, I'm going to move to Japan, I'm going to join JPML, the expectation of me isn't just Dave needs to be good at mahjong. I mean, Dave should be good at mahjong. Dave would love to be good at mahjong. But like the expectation is also that I'm going to represent the organization well. Yeah. That I'm going to behave in a way that elevates, or at least is respectful of the organization that I want to be a part of, and that I'm going to be able to provide something to the organization and to the mahjong world other than just my immense genius at picking up tiles and putting them down. Yeah. Like I need to do more than that, and that's the difference between a professional organization and just having fun playing. Yeah, I like Zap's comment, by the way. No pro has ever been less than you saved them all from indignity. Well, I
You
donated
fell on
many of
you
my
fell
points.
on your sword, didn't you, Zap? She fell on your sword.
I generously donated many of my points to the elderly while I was in Japan. Let me tell you.
But I think what you said is quite true. Like I've often sort of said, what kind of pro am I? I don't play in Japan. I don't play in the events. And I think it was Kuroki who said, but you're making the contribution to the community that's needed, which was a really generous thing of him to say.
Mm, mm.
And do you know what I find it difficult that I often have a lot of opinions, especially when I'm talking to Moriyama, and yeah, I have to sometimes swallow them because yeah. Oh, thanks, Pez. But then there are different types of pros, and it's sort of, especially now M League is here, and there's a sort of more established way to become famous, which there wasn't before. Um, there are different types of pros. Yeah, it's people like me who are sort of
Mm.
more, what do we do? How do we make this community grow? And there are other people who are doing the playing more, I guess. Who's a villain? I'm a villain.
Oh wait, am I a villain? Do I get to be a villain?
Yeah. Exactly,
Yeah,
Curly,
yeah, exactly,
exactly. And
Kylie.
we need people like us, Curly. We need people like us. Um, but it's, yeah, I don't know, and especially I think now we need enough of us who have this kind of perception into what makes Mahjong good to play and what makes a good player, and to put this in, well, actually, values, culture, and behavior are an important part of what makes a good Mahjong player, because we get to make that decision now before Mahjong becomes massive. And it's going to become massive. Like, I'm sick of going like, oh, is it going to become big or not? No, it's going to become massive now. We're at that crest. And it's
Hmm.
up to us now to define how the community is going to move forward. And I strongly believe we need to say now, we only want people with good culture, good behaviors, good attitudes. Otherwise, we'll just turn out like all the other games where it's all aggression and anger, and lots of people don't enjoy themselves.
Hmm. Hmm.
Thanks for listening to my
Hmm.
rant.
Hmm. See, I feel like there's a lot of different ways you can think about that. I have a few different thoughts about that. Like, I think you're going to see a lot of different things. I think you're going to see. I mean, I think your attitude doesn't matter until you get to a point where you want to take the game capital S seriously. Like if all you do is have fun, if all you do is just come and have fun, hang out with your friends, play mahjong, be who you want to be. Like I don't think it matters really.
I don't think anyone should be a dick. I'm sorry. I'm going to
No,
hold that.
I would prefer people to be sportsmanlike. Yes, there should be like a baseline level of sportsmanship that should
And
be that
okay,
should be adhered to.
and there's always going to be someone who acts as a dick, but the point is the community should be like, but that's dick behavior, right? What we don't want is for people to hold up that behavior as good.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
sometimes you look at poker, and that's someone who's just now and out twat. But because they win, everyone's like, oh well, they want to sidle up to that person. Whereas I think we should say, actually, more than winning, being a good person's important. But it's going to be okay because only good people can win mahjong, which was my thesis at the beginning. I love dicks.
Okay. I think that there. I mean, the biggest thing is you can't control who plays your game, right? Like you
Mm.
can't just straight up be like. And I think you do get into this kind of dangerous thing when you want a socially self-regulating community, to a certain point. But I also think that yeah, it's important to make sure that you elevate a standard of behavior and a standard of sportsmanship. And when you hold up the players who are, I mean, it's a lot like, I guess League of Legends can be used as a little bit of an example here, where it's like, God, that community's awful, and everyone's horrible to each other. But at the same time, like even the professional esports organizations realize that they have to uphold some level of conduct, right?
Mm.
They can't have their players shouting at people, terrible things, or at least they darn well shouldn't allow it. Because at that level you have to be acting as a kind of lodestar for the community, as something kind of acting as guidance. And maybe that's where I'm focused on it. It's like, yeah, like you can't say like you can't play mahjong because you're not nice. There's no real way to do that, even if you wanted
No,
to.
I can't stop
Um,
those people, but
but yeah, it's got to be within a tournament scene, within a professional scene, within anything like that. There does have to
mm.
be some level of gatekeeping, and yeah, it's gatekeeping. It's saying if you're going to be horrible and abusive to other people, the gate is closed to you. That's where that's the gate. It's not about like, you know, Are you a real Mahjong fan? Name 5 of their albums. It's about like, yeah, if, the gate is closed if you're an awful person who only screams at others. I'll see myself. But yeah, I don't know. It's
I mean, I haven't seen any very poor behavior,
no.
but I think as the community
Oh
upscales,
yeah,
it's like any company, right? You join your nice small company, it's like 5 to 10 of you in the office, and everyone knows each other, and behavior is just naturally moderated because it's so small you can't afford to fall out. But let's say that company then suddenly is a 1,000 person company because they've upscaled in the last 3 years. That's when you start to see the HR cases flying left, right, and center, isn't it?
yeah,
Because they haven't actually got any systems within their company as they've grown quickly to moderate their behaviors anymore. And I think that's where Mahjong might find itself in that as growth explodes, if we're not conscious of how we maintain standards, we will lose them and they'll be very difficult to get back.
mm, mm. I agree. That I agree with. Yeah,
And and all of the stuff that I mean, we're just talking about behaviors here, but of course, as we upscale, we are going to see more cheating
that's
because there
also
is
an important
already
thing.
cheating. Don't kid yourself that this is not happening. It is happening, but it's going to become very troublesome.
I mean, it really is. I think feel like it's gonna end up like any sport where it's like people will try to cheat, and you need systems to manage it, to properly sanction players who behave poorly, to possibly ban
Mm,
players who behave poorly, to report, to be transparent, to be fair.
mm, mm,
Like
mm.
all of these things. Yeah, and again, I feel like when I've talked about these things, people end up being like, "Oh no, like that's not happening. That's not gonna happen." Blah blah. Because I know everyone, and we're all friends, and I'm like, that is. I sincerely hope you are absolutely right, but I know that at some point
Mm.
you will be wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's the problem. Most people operate in good faith. Most people do,
Yeah,
and that makes them completely blind to the fact that there is a sizable number of people who do not operate in good faith.
I'm worried about. I mean, I'm very worried about this qualifier season in North America, to be
Yeah.
very honest,
Oh no,
because
there's going to
well,
be a
what
scandal,
I'm
Dave.
worried
Look forward
about.
to it.
I know, great. Yeah. I'm worried about it in the abstract. I'll be super transparent about that. I don't have a specific person or a specific thing. It's
Mm,
not like that. But in the abstract, the level of interest and the level of excitement, it's great that it's really high,
mm.
but that's more incentive for someone to try something. And again,
Yeah,
it's not personal. It's
no.
just a numbers game. When you get hundreds of people participating in something, the odds that one of those people will decide to do something unethical, it gets higher.
Hmm.
So
And that's where you need the systems in place
yeah,
because
that's why you need
unfortunately,
systems in place for reporting and management of this.
you can't rely on individuals, especially, we've had people who have to dob in their own friends. You can't expect them to be able to make the right decision. It's not fair on them.
It's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I struggle with it myself, but I don't think we've got the right systems in place still in Europe. Um, I mean, Japan has had enough cheating scandals. Europe has had plenty of cheating scandals. Unfortunately, it'll come for you too, Dave, and
It'll.
it's
I mean, that's the thing. Again, it's when, not if. And again, that's not directed at any person. It's just a
no,
numbers game. It will
yeah.
happen. Someone will show up and cheat, just because
Mhm.
someone always does at some point.
The most
Yeah.
stressful thing is that it's already happening for sure. Someone is already cheating, and it just takes so long in mahjong for it to be caught because catching people cheating is so difficult.
It's hard. It's hard. And like, I feel like if someone's good at cheating, it can be real hard.
Mm.
And then you're gonna get people, who only cheat sometimes, or only cheat in certain games, for
Mhm.
now, and then they start like,
I mean,
expanding.
you have your yeah. It's a bit like people who thieve, right? You have your opportunists, people who do it because they can, because the systems are slack, so they're able to do it, and they just do it out of they're not thinking, and that's why we have all of these complicated seating arrangements, mixing, all of the shuffle, all of that is
Mm-hmm.
designed to try and all of the things that we hate, the call etiquette. It's really designed to prevent people from not all, but a lot of it is designed to prevent the opportunists. And then you have the real diehards, the ones who are going to cheat no matter what, and they will find ways to cheat and they will do it. Those are the ones that are real troublesome because they're usually very good at it. And they usually operate for months, maybe years before they're caught. And then everyone who's played against them or in an event with them has to look back on all of those results and think, how
Yeah.
fair was this?
How far could I have gotten
Yeah.
if it wasn't for this person cheating? Like
Yeah.
that's a rough thing.
And this is why, I'm still sort of hesitant that we should allow any technology at the tables. I often look over at the chess community because, of course, they have very high level, very, very scandalous scandals. Um, the guy who managed to somehow cheat with technology in his shoe. Um, Stuff like this. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that, because all it requires is that allegation to be out there, and all of the events that person's attending become suspicious, right?
Yeah, Magic has a lot of cheaters. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to cheat on camera. That's for sure. But
I didn't know about the anal beads fiasco.
there was. Oh god, there was a whole. But the problem with on camera is we're not going to be able to.
Oh no, I think I did hear this one. Okay, I didn't know it was anal beads. I know it was a sex toy. Okay, fair enough.
At something like WRC, you have what, 80 tables, 60 tables. Like you're not going to be able to televise all. I guess you could, if you really want to be very thorough, you could actually have cameras watching everything so you can review.
But I mean, you say, Kelly, that the cheating detection will get better when the game's on camera. However, I think we're now at a situation where technology is so tiny, it's so easy for someone to carry someone onto the table and be given information from off the table. And actually having the camera on the table makes that problem worse. Because it just has to be someone watching that stream live to then, transmit information to their friend who's playing on the table.
Yeah, it's like it's a different type of cheating. I think cameras definitely, like if you're doing sleight of hand or something like that, cameras, sure, yeah, we can track it, we can see it. But for something like, I got the Naga readout of every situation I was in, piped directly to me so I could play better. That's hard.
I mean, it's even just if someone can just tell you, well, that tile's dangerous.
This is why.
Or there's a Yakuman on the table, fold. And, even someone could even stand near the table and transmit that information. It's so easy to do, and we just never catch it. I don't know if you ever saw the new one.
Tech at the table always makes me nervous when it's like, you just take out your phone and everyone uses their phone, and I'm like, okay, well, everyone uses their infinite information portal that they can connect to the internet with and talk to literally anyone with all the time. It's like, now.
I mean, banning tech at the table, again, it's not going to stop your diehard cheaters. They will find a way to cheat, but it will stop you opportunists.
And it's also frustrating because those tools are kind of pleasant and easy, and for the vast majority of people who don't want to cheat, like, it's just a convenience.
I don't think people should have their lives being made easy to play Mahjong. They should, they want to play Mahjong.
Oh no.
You've got to keep numbers in your head. Jeez, do you know what?
That's also true.
I got so crossed this week because those 6-digit codes they send you so you can log into your internet banking or whatever, and someone's like, how do you remember a 6-digit code? I'm like, I look at it, you type it in. Like, how can you not remember a 6-digit code? If you can't remember a 6-digit code and you're struggling with your Mahjong game, that is my first tip. Learn to hold 6 digits in your head. Just do it, and you will already become better at Mahjong.
Yeah no, it's true. Remembering, like, and this is something that I've done over the years, is now, remembering how many points everyone has, what place everyone's in, how far away from each other they are. Like, that's really important. And just being able to keep that sitting in your head is a huge help.
Keeping it, because you've got to manipulate it, right? And that's the problem. We get lazy because we can always use our phone. It's always on our phone. We can just look at it and remember. However, you need to be able to manipulate it in your head. And the first step to manipulating it in your head is to be able to keep it in your head. So one of the things when I was training to be a professional, which was really very, very helpful, was because I struggled with the scoring. I struggled with the numbers. None of this stuff has come easy to me, I want to point out. I'm saying it now and I'm barking at you. However, all of this has come through hard learning. So I was really struggling holding numbers in my head, holding positions in my head. And I think it was Mochizuki-san. He suggested to me that when I go shopping, I tot up my total as I'm picking the items and putting them in my basket. And then when I get to the till, see whether I was right or not. And that would assist me in holding numbers in my head and manipulating them, along with all the other kind of sensory input that you are doing when you're shopping. You're deciding which item you're going to buy, maybe talking to someone, all of that. Being able to hold that number in your head, manipulate it, whilst all the other things are going on, was an important skill for Mahjong. And he was right. It took me a while to really get to the point where I was like, actually, I can do this. but I do think it really, really improved because it's, it's because when we talk about scoring, it's not actually maths, right? It's mental arithmetic.
Right.
And mental
Right.
arithmetic requires you to be able to manipulate things in your head.
Hmm.
And that's a key part of Mahjong. Yeah, sure. You can have it given to you on your phone. You can have it given to you when you're playing. But if you really, really, really want to be one of the better players, you need to be able to do it in your head.
I was told I was cool for counting in English.
Okay, Dave. I've had massive rants now. I think I've had all my rants out. Do you want to tell us about your dojo experiences?
Oh my god. All right, fine. Dave's heart breaks. So it was really sad. I was very sad. I was very sad. I was happy, but I was also very sad.
Just
Um,
shop online, Becky
just up
Pants.
online. So
See,
like,
see, don't do that. Go and shop real.
so yeah, I went back to I was back in the dojo. I was playing some games in the dojo. Um, and it's just another moment of just being so sad at how far away from where I want to be I am.
Mm,
Like, uh it's hard it's hard to explain this feeling, and maybe the best way to explain this feeling is like, imagine when you were younger, you used to do gymnastics and you stop for 10 years, and then you go back to a gym and you want to do gymnastics again, and you cannot. You can envision it and you understand it
mm,
and you know what you want to do, but your body won't do it because you're out of shape. And let's forget the ravages of age, which is another one of my common themes, but you just haven't done it for a while. You're just out of shape. You're out of shape
mm,
because your daily life has not required you to be in shape. Like you walk around. You're not in bad shape because you walk around, you run up and down the stairs, you get your groceries, you carry them around. It's not that you've regressed into being a blob, but you can't do it. You can't do those things anymore because you haven't had to do them. And
mm.
that's how I felt. That's how I felt in my games at the dojo. I felt like,
Was there a specific thing? Was it the reading? Was it the defense? Was it the attack? Was it the, like what element were you struggling with?
um, I was pleased that my defensive instincts are still very good.
Fold? Did you fold?
I folded when I had to, and I picked right a lot of times. And,
Mm,
and I barely ever dealt in. And the times when I dealt in, either it was something I knew was a risk,
mm.
or I'd like been in reach on something that was worth going into reach on, and dealt in while in reach. So actually, on the defense front, I actually feel pretty
Do,
what's it called, validated
do
that
you
I
think though then that, and I see this a lot, also from myself, that when you go and play in the dojo, you became overly defensive because you don't want to be seen to be thrown in?
that tendency was for sure there.
Yeah, yeah,
I definitely felt that tendency of like, oh, I better watch out. Oh, I better watch out.
yeah.
I wouldn't say that defined how I played,
Mm,
but that definitely is something in your head. Yeah, for sure.
mm,
No, it's all offense. It's all offense. It's all, to be blunt,
mm.
bullshit I can get away with here that I cannot get away with there.
Yeah, okay.
And like being able to be a little bit slower, being able to push for wonky hands, being able to, you know, intimidate people with calls or other things, being able to not be the fastest or the best because you don't necessarily really have to.
Mm.
There were multiple hands where I just, oh man, oh man. The best part of that hand was just flipping it face down at the end and realizing nobody has to see this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Surely that's part of the problem, right? That you were very conscious and aware of what people would think of you.
Oh no, what they'd think was, wow, you sure did goof this hand up, and you could have won it if you'd only attacked properly.
Mm.
Not like Dave's dumb, but I'm sitting there looking at my hand and what I've done and be like, man, I sure, discard 4, there was a mini interaction, I handled it the wrong way. I knew at discard 6 that I goofed that up, and now I'm sitting here looking at my mistakes, realizing there's no coming back to this. And I can avoid throwing in,
Oh, I
but I'm
hate that
sure not getting
feeling.
this over the hump now, and I'm glad that no one
Oh.
who knows better is going to see that and I'm just gonna push that into the garbage, and we're gonna try again next time.
I hate that feeling. Zaps makes a good comment there from Michael that they don't just beat you, but they're
Yeah,
playing after they've had a long day at work. Whereas
it
Dave's
is.
Dave's just been going around Tokyo eating as much
Yes,
wagyu as he can.
it is absolutely part of the journey. There are absolutely things to improve on, and that's why really you shouldn't let that get you into a funk. Because as I
No.
said, you junk it and you go on to the next hand and you try to do better next hand. That's all you can do. But it's really, for me at least, I can feel that those muscles which used to be much stronger have atrophied. And I
Mm,
wish I just had literal months to sit there and just play
mm,
and just grow it back and get it back together.
mm.
Um, and maybe that sounds hubrisy, uh, but I feel like at one point in my career, I'd had that down. I'd been competitive at that level,
Mm.
not master or anything like that, but like functional competitive at that level. And maybe the pandemic, but maybe other things like I've been weakened. I've allowed myself to weaken,
Mm. I mean,
and
you've
I'd
been
like
busy running a
a
mahjong
lot of, yeah,
dojo
life. A lot of
yourself.
life has happened. But I'd like to rebuild that. I'd like to go back and push it back. Um,
And
don't
that,
wait.
I mean,
Don't
curly. I mean,
wait.
well, I was about to say something different. I was like, actually, mahjong is good though because it's not, a lot of games you have to be young. A lot of
Mm.
the big esports, you're not going to be the greatest League of Legends player at 60, but you could be the greatest mahjong player at 60.
It's true. You have a lot of time, but when I say don't wait, I feel like the best thing you can do is play more mahjong against people who are good. And it's like if you have that opportunity, just take it. Just take it. Take it, and maybe you'll lose. Again, for me at least, playing against people who are really good, I will lose. But don't put it off if you have the opportunity to do that, because it's just
Hmm.
worth it. It's just worth it. The best way to get better is just to play more.
Dave, did you get any inspiration in your trip to the JPMO dojo for things you'd like to implement at Sparrow's Nest in New York, Manhattan? Manhattan, New
Yes.
York? Okay, good.
When I
Let's
went
talk
to the
about that.
JPML dojo, it was entirely full of customers. This is what I would love to implement. They were straight up full, um, which is awesome. Like, it's wonderful. Um,
Okay, I can't help you with that.
yeah, no, I'm thinking about more specific things. It's hard to say. Like I'd like to get into a little bit of the structure they have of timed games. I think that would be good, but it's hard because people can't play at that speed in the West very much.
We're not at that stage yet, no.
No, and so that's a little hard to do. I still want to steal the staff. I still want to bring the staff over to do JPML Dojo and Exile Night. Customers can't be 3D printed yet. That's true. Not yet. We're working on it. Timer is 50 minutes. 50 minutes for a Hanchan. And so like I
Mm.
can't at this point because we have a lot of people who are new. We have a lot of people just getting started. Yeah, you just do it, man. You just go. It's great. It feels great. It feels great to just play at that rate. And this does include people pausing to think when they need to think. Like, it's, again, don't imagine. Yeah, auto tables help a whole ton because you get rid of all the shuffle time. And most people again have 2 or 3 moments during a hand, where they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, give me a second, I need to think." Like, it's not like everyone's just
Yeah,
super
when
ultra
a
geniuses
Ritchie
who are
hits
just
the
blowing through
table, yeah,
everything.
like
Yeah,
there's a natural slowdown, and then it speeds up again.
yeah. People take their time when they need to think. They're not like refusing to do it, but you just go through the games. Any announcements? Oh man, uh, there's lots of things that are brewing, but nothing that I can overtly say yet,
I'm just trying to think.
which
Was
makes
there?
me sad. But I want to be able to say things. But
Yeah, yeah. Just trying to think.
I know. But I will say them as soon as I can say them. But I
Did you
need to
do
be
any
100%.
shopping, Dave?
Some.
No, you're not going to talk
Um,
about that either, are you?
I can say that I'm going to be getting some more tables for Sparrow's Nest. That's on the docket. That's not finalized yet, but that's not a secret either.
No.
I'm getting the
Okay.
quotes and I'm getting the numbers ironed out.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want to be above 8 tables, 8 auto tables there to be able to run qualifier, WC qualifier. Because I got to do one. I got to do one. The qualifier, yeah, and we're looking at some other equipment. looking at upping our convention loadout with better hand shuffle tables. These are really, I don't think these are exciting to anyone really, but looking to get better hand shuffle tables for tournament stuff. Um, Looking to get some other exciting things, but I can't talk about them yet because they're not certain, and I don't want to say things that aren't certain. I'll say that this one's fine. I can give up this secret. I don't think this is that big of a deal. I really want to get a Mahjong Fight Club machine. I really want to get a Mahjong Fight Club machine. And so I was given the go ahead in terms of having the conversation with Konami to see whether they'd allow an out of Japan Mahjong Fight Club machine to exist and connect to their network.
That's going to be the
Um,
problem, is the connecting to the network, right? Because you only
yeah,
see those in the game centers in Japan.
yeah. They just have to allow it. Like it can't be that hard. They just have to allow it. But that's not guaranteed at all. But if they'll allow it, I will totally get one of those machines for Sparrow's Nest, so you can sit in Sparrow's Nest and play Mahjong
Yeah,
Fight
you
Club.
think that Mahjong Soul gives you good feels when you can or Ichi? I mean, the Mahjong Fight Club thing rumbles, it's like a slot
Yeah,
machine.
yeah, those things are friggin' amazing. I love those machines. So that's something it's not guaranteed, but I can talk about it. There's no secrecy around that. Other than that, we're looking. Yeah, I think the broad shape of what we're looking for. Yes, it's true. Playing fast at the dojo is important. Gonna
Do you
lose
know
a
what?
lot
So
of free
I'll give
time.
you. So when I first went to Japan, my very first game in Japan was against Katayama Sensei, who's the manga artist who did Obaka no Miko and Occulti. And that was my very first game in a Jamso with Katayama Sensei. And I didn't play Mahjong. I just picked up tiles and discarded them because I was like,
It's true.
Jesus
It's
Christ,
true.
this is fast. What am I doing? I just had no opportunity to think. Just don't throw the tiles across the table. Like I did nothing. They must have thought I was a complete moron. They're like, what is this girl doing? She turns up. I was just literally just pick. Okay, yep. Okay, there's another discard. No idea what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah, my first game at Speed was very similar, where I was just like, oh god, oh dear god, I have to figure out how to do this, and then you get more used to it, and then you start to get into the flow, and you realize that it's actually really at least at this point, it's really nice to play at speed,
Yeah.
to really be going,
But
and
it's
to
again,
go through the game and
it's this ability to, and this is, I think our brains have been really hacked against this. It's the ability to focus, right? And I think I was saying to Dave just this week about I'm trying to be really mindful about my phone usage because I think it's really degrading my ability to concentrate. The doom
mm,
scrolling, like, oh, you're on TikTok,
oh yeah,
you just look at some 15-second short, and then you move on, you move on, you move on, you move on, and your brain is just moving constantly from one thing, but to focus on something, and you say 15 minutes is a short amount of time, but it's a huge amount of time to concentrate for. Huge.
yeah. I found in some of those games I was like looking at the time, and I'm like, why does it not feel like, it feels like the game should be almost over, and we're only like halfway through time
It's
wise.
exhausting. It is exhausting. And it's something that the modern world, again, really, it's against us to become good mahjong players. It is against us, and we really have to find ways to fight against it, to build in good brain habits into our daily lives.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like scuba. That's an interesting metaphor for it.
Did you mind just holding your breath the whole
Yeah,
time?
I've never been scuba diving, but I definitely feel that like in the zone sort of feeling, where it's like when you're in it,
Yeah.
and you are really able to just focus on doing this, and it's a really good feeling to not have to worry about anything else and just be like, this is what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and
When
this
you
is
can
what I'm
achieve
focused on
that,
right now.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
there's a big kind of, I don't want to say spiritual, but it's almost spiritual, right?
Mm. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to have I don't want to say autopilot, I prefer muscle memory. To
Yeah.
be able
It's
to
a little bit
trust
like
your
muscle
muscle
memory.
memory
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
good thing. I think autopilot has the sort of negative connotations of zoning out, which is why I prefer muscle memory. But yeah, streaming, I was always very good because fortunately when I did do the streaming, because I was engaging with people, my brain kept on the table. However, when I'm playing online and I'm at home, it's very easy for my brain to wander. Oh, I need to put that load of washing on. Oh, I need to go and put the bins out. There's multitude of like small chore distractions for my brain to just wander over there, wander over here. So I've been having, oh God, the last 2 weeks of mahjong have been possibly the most. I think last month I had the greatest month of mahjong in my life. And this
Oh,
month really, I mean, it's not terrible, but definitely treading water, kind of bubbling at the same R. And I was really hoping I could continue that momentum. But you know something that was really interesting that I did yesterday? I was like, right, I'm always playing mahjong in this room with this setup. So I just moved to a different room and played mahjong, and I won all three games. And I just
huh.
think moving environment, I think we don't kind of give enough understanding to how the things around you are distracting you. Which is kind of coming back to Curly's autopilot mode, was that obviously,
Hmm.
I was comfortable in that position and therefore allowing my brain to wander. So by moving to another room where I don't usually play mahjong, that refocused me.
That makes sense.
Mm.
Hmm.
I feel like, yeah, this is, I don't know. Do you have the word woo in America? Has that hit you guys yet?
Woo.
I
Woo.
don't know, it might be a female thing, but like people who like believe in horoscopes and the paranormal and things that are kind of not very scientific, you call it woo. I just worry that you're
Oh,
believing
woo.
in a bit of
Yeah.
woo. It's just moving rooms, but it's not woo because I'm not saying that I don't know, that the spirits in that room were bad and therefore making my mahjong bad. I had a slightly more
No,
rational
I felt like
explanation.
yeah, I was just doing bad. It was me. I did it.
Yeah.
But it was good. No, I mean, don't let my downer talk imply that it was a downer. I mean, it was very good to be able to play like that again. It was very good to be there. It felt good to realize that I'm still at least defensively okay, and I'm not just going to throw into everybody and look like an idiot. And it was a little bit like a positive vibe of like I really do want to be in this. Like I want to play this more. I want to do this more. Like it was a good feeling, even if what I was feeling was that I
Oh
missed
yeah.
missed my kind of glory days a little bit.
I think that's most people who come out the dojo. They're like, I'm like, how did it go? And they're like, oh my God, I lost everything. But it was really inspirational, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's because I think a lot of times, and this kind of circles back to that earlier question, like what makes the pros so good, or what makes a good player so good. It's when you witness it, it makes sense to you.
Mm,
Like when you see, it's really hard to explain. Like when you see the level of refinement in judgment about push versus fold,
mm,
and when you see the ability to recognize where dangerous tiles live and who's dangerous and all of these things, and you see people reacting and moving and doing
mm,
and understanding that, then you start to see like what it actually, not only what it actually means to be a good player, but what it means to sit at the table with three good players
mhm.
and have the game move around that.
That is a rare experience, I think, in our playing circles at the
That's
moment.
another big part of the challenge, because I feel like, and this is again, ask yourself this when you play. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud.
Can you rephrase it?
Ask yourself what you've earned and what
Uh,
was given to you.
no, that's a good way of looking at
Maybe
it.
that's a good way to
Yeah,
do it.
that's a
In
good
other
way to do
words,
it. Yeah, okay.
if I form my hand and I'm waiting on, it's reach on a 5 pin, which is the Dora, and has never come out, nor have any pin tiles ever come out from me. If someone throws that 5 pin, I did not earn it, it was given to me.
Mm,
Everyone else at that table should be like, throwing the Dora of a suit that the player in Reach had never discarded before they reached into that is wildly stupid, and I shouldn't do it.
mm-hmm,
And if someone does it, that is a wonderful birthday present for Dave.
mm-hmm.
Now, if I sumo it, that's just good luck for Dave, right? No one did that for me, right? I
Yeah.
sumoed it. I did. I got good luck myself. Good for me. Cool. But if someone throws that into me, that was given to me. I didn't earn it. I benefited because a player at my table made a move that was suboptimal, is how I'll put
Mm,
that. Either
mm,
because they're very inexperienced, maybe they really, really, really had it's skill to read if your opponent. It is a skill, but it's a different skill, and I think that's the thing. It is a skill to be able to kind of read your opponents, to play the people at the table, to understand their level and be able to take advantage of it. But at the end of the day, if you winning your games comes down to the fact that you're able to get all kinds of wins that you definitely would not be able to get if the other players at your table exhibited higher levels of defensive skill, then you're having it given to you. You still win. I'm not going to claim you don't get credit for it, but you're benefiting from the inexperience of the players around you. And when you sit at the table with 3 other very experienced players who will never give anything to you if they can help it, the game is real different. And
Suji traps aren't a thing. Stop making Suji traps. Stop. No, Suji trap box. Sorry.
Suji traps are not a thing. It's not a thing.
That would be, if I ever do write my strategy book, that will be what I get on the what I get on that like Obi. Like, just stop trying to make Suji traps a thing. I'll just write every chapter from a Mean Girls quote.
It's not real. But yeah, and I think that's an important thing. And I think this is a crutch, which is maybe a harsh way to put it, but this is a crutch that many of us in the West lean on constantly for many reasons. And this isn't meant to insult. It's really not. It's really not meant as an insult to anyone. You need to change your play when you are playing in an environment with players like that, with new players, with inexperienced players, with players who just throw things because. For 2 reasons. One is that they're just unpredictable. And 2 is that if you don't take advantage of it, someone else will. And that's just it's just a complete change in the texture of the game. It's just different. It's just not the same thing. And your strategies are not the same when you play in that environment versus playing in an environment with very serious people.
You've got no announcements, Dave, and we've spoken for an hour and a half about you, about your trip, about Gemma's rants. We haven't done any margin. Do you know? I was thinking I could share, but do you know, the league, the Jankan Run League, I played so badly. I was so irritated at myself. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I'm ready to go back over those reviews.
Well, I might actually want to get going a little early today.
Oh, okay.
Because today's our meetup day, and I am a little bit behind due to jet lag. So I might want to just make the extra time to make sure I can eat lunch and be there for meetup folks on time.
Okay, we'll do a review next week, because I don't know. I mean, people should tell us what they come for. What do you come for? Because we've managed to not talk about any politics this week, which was very good of us. Well done. Your beautiful face. My face is not beautiful. So, like, what do people like? Do they like rants, or do they like reviews? I mean, the logs are public. I'm okay if people look back at my match. I say I'm not prepared to look yet. I'm not ready psychologically to review what happened. And unfortunately, as I said, it came off 2 weeks of really bad Mahjong, and I was in a funk, a really bad funk, and I couldn't see. You know, it's like being in a fog. When I get into that situation, like, I'm usually pretty good at understanding what's happening on the table, what people are going for, what they're doing. And they're strong players. Those people are strong players, so there's no shame in losing to them. They're very strong players. But I just couldn't see. I couldn't see the way forward, and I just didn't know whether I was playing dangerously or not, because I couldn't see. And I'm not sure if I'm psychologically ready to have a robust view of my style at the moment.
Oh, I really want to have cooler Mahjong World news.
Okay, Mahjong World news. Okay, I'll keep it. You know, I do. Kuroki, I love Kuroki. Do you know what? If I ever want to be someone in the Mahjong world, I want to be the Western version of Kuroki. Western Kuroki. Do you not think he's amazing? I love him. He gets a bad rep from people, but he's just so smart. But he's not one of the best players. You're not going to see him playing in M League at any point in time, but he really makes things happen. And yeah, more game tips, more reviews. And yeah, we do have very, very different viewpoints, I'm not going to lie. The league has been great. Oh, Granny, I love that you're loving the league. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Granny. Okay. Butterfly
Mm.
Bandito. Yeah, spicy takes are always
Spicy take.
fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna do spicy takes. Um,
Anyway, if anyone
I
does
got a lot
try
of those.
the shopping technique where you go around and you put things in the basket and you try, let me know if
Yeah,
it
give
let
that a
me
shot.
know if it helps you as well. Like it'll take a few weeks, but it really helped me. It's not my hot tip. It came from Mochizuki Pro.
Mm.
So I'd just be interested to know if it helps anyone else because it really helped me.
I think it's good. I'm gonna try it
Mm,
just because I think it's a cool thing to try. You know, something I'm actually really interested in. This is something that I can talk about a little bit. Is as
mm.
we're getting ready. So we launched memberships at Sparrow's Nest this past month for people who want to be members of Sparrow's Nest, and we're going to be launching our leagues in February. So that's going to happen. So by next thing, we should have that launched. So I can announce it's done, but it's going to be starting. And one of the things that I really want to do is come up with a notebook for players in the league. And I want this notebook to have pages, and the page should be designed around tracking a game and being able to write down
Do you mean like the ones we did at JPML when you did the crash course?
kind of, but I want the printing in the, like, I want it to be a notebook page printed and designed for tracking a Mahjong game.
But that's what we did, right? You had the table, right? I'm just looking. I thought I had one around here, but you know, it's got the squares, and then you can just do the arrows or the symbols as the game
Something, oh,
happens.
that's one thing. I mean, I'm talking like points and transfer of points,
Oh, I see. Okay, right. Yeah,
as
yeah.
well as maybe spaces to write down um, particular like if you encounter a situation in your hand that you want to remember,
Hmm.
you can write down what your hand looked like
Hmm.
or something, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it would entail. Maybe something for game tracking like that would be good too to have in a notebook. I want something that's custom like that to help
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
to remember their games, to keep track of what they're thinking, to be able to write down the situations that they want to review, things like that. And I think that's just a nice thing to have that would help people like get more study value out of leagues.
Pez, I'll write down and put it on my blog actually the shopping tip, and maybe we can have a like 4 week challenge.
Hmm.
Do your shopping and see if it improves your mahjong. And it'll be very scientific because the
Yeah,
results will not be objective at all.
it'll be true science. This is a picture of the hand instead of writing it on. Well, maybe, but in theory, you're not supposed to be whipping out your phone at at the table.
And Kelly, if you
But
ever want to learn Japanese, you need to be able to write it down. It's what I've been telling Dave. And Dave's a very obedient child. He's very
am I?
good.
Wait, what?
Do you know what? Every time I teach people Japanese now, they get their phones out and they've got their Duolingo and their Wanikani, and I'm like, these are all great. These are great tools. Don't not do those. But you do also need to write kanji to really
Hmm.
understand them. I don't want to sound like some sort of bullshit Japanese otaku weeaboo. However, the kanji were designed to be written, and to understand how the elements in the kanji interact, it's much better to write them down. And also, I have massive beef actually with Wanikani in that they, to simplify the process, they change things like the meat radical to the moon radical. And I know they look the same, but they are two very different meanings. And if you don't understand that that's the meat radical, you're going to come up for hard times later.
Interesting.
You know that,
Interesting.
I don't know if you'd like the moon kanji.
I fucking hated that movie. I hated that movie so much, except for the
Oh,
soundtrack. The soundtrack was really good.
I loved Arrival because it was like translator saves the day.
But
And
they
I was
cut
like,
out all the
I can be
interesting
the
parts.
translator. I can be the translator who saves the day.
They cut out all the good parts. Seriously, I mean, there were some really cool concepts in that movie, and then they get to this point where she's like, "But now we have to figure out the alien language," and it's just like a smash cut, and then she's like, "Well, I did it. All right, I know
That's
it's done.
translation. What are you
It's just
talking
that
about?
easy. You don't have
That's
to
what I
learn a
do.
language. It doesn't take any time or effort or engagement. You just snap your fingers and cut to the next scene. You're like, well,
Because it's fucking boring. You'd
done.
just be
Oh,
there
oh,
with me in a darkened room going like, Jesus, what
yeah.
does this
You know
word
what else
mean?
is boring? You know what else is boring? Sylvester Stallone training for boxing for months and months, but they still managed to make a kick-ass montage about it in Rocky.
Because there's actually physical things happening, not someone sitting there crying. That's what it would
I
be.
think a cry. You say there's been plenty of crying montages.
Anyway, Sorry, Curly. Sorry, Dave. You're wrong.
No,
That
no,
Translator Saves the Day
no.
was the best thing I've ever watched on a plane
And
ever.
then the weird MacGuffinness of like, I know how I'll fix my problem. I'll just remember the future. Jesus fucking Christ.
Do you see? No, 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 no. You see, as a translator who has to handle languages where the past and present and future tense are very different to my native language, again, I know it's very okay. Okay, I recognize that this is the most up myself thing to say, but I enjoyed it. The
You're allowed to enjoy it.
I
I mean,
enjoyed
I'm
the
not going to tell you not to enjoy
fetishization.
something you enjoy.
I
At least
enjoyed the
someone got any value
I
out of it.
enjoyed the fetishization of my career, okay? That's what I
I
enjoyed.
just, it
Because
just, the other thing is,
now, no lady will be solving the alien language. They'll get fucking chat GBT to do it, okay? So let
I
me
mean,
enjoy
maybe
it. Let me take it.
still, like the just cutting out this
Thanks.
critical thing where it's just like, well, I gotta learn the alien language. Oh, I did it. Oh, by the way, learning their language also fundamentally restructures your
Right.
engagement with
No,
space
I'm
and
sorry.
time.
I'm sorry.
So,
I'm
like,
sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry.
now a
I'm sorry.
master of all
All of that is
things.
better than that dumbass movie, and I can't remember the name of it, where
Jurassic Park.
no, no, that made sense. Jurassic Park made sense. The movie, oh my God, what was it? Where they communicate using Morse code over time and space by like pushing books out of a bookshelf or something. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Yes, what was that one? And
Interstellar.
yes, and the whole meaning was love in the end. I am sorry. That was a shit movie. And how do they know when to start like working out what the Morse code is saying? None of it made sense.
No,
Interstellar
no,
was
no,
the
no.
worst movie.
I'm sorry, Interstellar. I liked a lot of things in Interstellar,
And
but
unfortunately,
I agree with
Matt
you.
Damon turning up, like, I'm like, why is Matt Damon in space? Like,
No, the part of it in Interstellar that I thought was really bad was that point where they were just like, we need to decide what to do. Like, I thought a lot of things in
no,
Interstellar
no,
were
no.
really
I'm
cool,
sorry.
and
No,
then they get the point.
no. When the guy drives in his Jeep and bumps into NASA and they're like, we need someone to pilot our plane into space. Do you want to go? And I'm like, what? Is that what it takes to be part of NASA now? To drive up to their gates?
Yeah,
No.
it's called American exceptionalism. All right, he's got
The
a
movie,
truck.
the
He's
movie,
got to be good at this shit.
the movie started bad and it ended bad.
No, the worst part of that movie was definitely the part where I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but the worst part of that movie is where they're all sitting in space being like, well, what do we do? And then, of course, in a terrible blow to feminism, they have the lady scientist speak up and be like, what if
Love.
it's actually all about love? We have to go to my boyfriend. And I'm just like, Jesus. Like, this is supposed to be a top tier scientist
I
who's
know.
a genius. Like, why did you have, like, if you want to have someone say that, maybe don't pick, like, the only woman in the movie.
No one
Like,
should say it ever, ever, unless it's a daytime movie. If it was a daytime movie, okay, love can be the answer. But it wasn't. I'd pay $12 to sit and watch that movie.
like,
$12 I'll never get back.
oh, I didn't. I watched it on an airplane. That's where I watch all these bad movies. I
Oh
watch them
no,
on
I mean
airplanes,
yeah,
so
if
they're
I'd
free.
watched it on the airplane, I might have had different views. But I was
But
angry
I liked
within the
some
first
parts
10
of the movie.
minutes.
I liked some parts of the movie, but other parts were weird. And yeah, the whole like now I'm trapped in my daughter's closet forever was sure, fine.
And communicating with Morse code again, like how did they know? How
Whatever
did they
you
know
want.
what like
Whatever you want. Fine. Yeah.
So I'm
Anyway.
sorry, Interstellar was worse than Arrival. Arrival was a great movie, and I will hear nothing against it, even though the fact they mangled the concept of mahjong, like that made me sad. I was like, really, really? They don't call them honors in Chinese, you know. They don't call them any of those words you just mentioned. So not the best translator, are you, Miss Ginger Lady? What's her name
She
again?
doesn't have to be a good translator anymore. She's mastered space and time by knowing how aliens talk in
Do you
circles.
know what? It's a shame that they don't take that on my CV when I say can translate through space and time.
Yeah, can't translate space and time.
But they're always just like, but what about machine translation post editing? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do that instead.
All right. All right. All right. Enough of this nonsense because I got to go to make sure I'm on time for my meetup. So if you're in New York, come out to Sparrow's Nest. We're doing our meetup today. otherwise.
Oh,
I will try to
Aqua
fight my
says he
jet
comes
lag.
to the stream for this. These
Yeah,
angry
this
rants
is what
about
people want.
movies.
These angry rants around movies. Um, I watched some movies on the plane, but I'm not even going to talk about that now. I can talk about it later.
Right,
But
we'll come back with a maybe no, I can't. I'll have a look over my reviews from the last leak session and decide whether I'm psychologically in the right place to look at them
come
again.
back with more Mahjong
Maybe
content.
Dave can present something that he can play and show
Oh, I
us.
can do that. I can play something. For
Yeah.
next week, I'll have plenty of time before
No,
he leaves.
I know what to do, Dave.
What?
You
What?
sent
What?
me
What?
that log, and I sent it to Yamai to get a professional hot tips for
Oh
you.
shit! Was he like, Dave is garbage? Why do
No,
you know
but
this guy?
we can go through those. I'll
That'd be
translate
cool.
those, and then we'll
Yeah,
go through them together with everyone
that
on the
sounds good.
stream. Everyone
That
likes
sounds
that.
great.
That sounds like a great idea. We've got a great idea,
We
guys.
got a great idea for next week, but
Sweet.
I really need to eat my lunch or I'm
Yes.
gonna die.
Right, Dave,
All right.
go.
So thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Meetup time today, so if you're coming to Sparrow House, I hope to see you there. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. And I'm back, and I'm going to try not to die jet lag, and I'll see you all soon.
See you soon. Thanks, Dave.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Look forward to next week. Tell everyone else. That's what we're doing.